Hello, hello. How are you? Red button means we're live. Happy Tuesday, mid-October. And if you are listening in, this is streaming in several places, so please say hello. Let me know where you are listening from, or if you watch the replay later. And I wanted to just come in tonight. I am so grateful to say that I have a lot of new people in the groups that I run. So I run 2 different groups and then 2 different pages, and this is streaming to all of those places and my own page. And I have a lot of new people, and I thought I would just take a few minutes tonight to tell you a little bit about who I am. And people have been sending me messages like, what do you really do? And can you tell me how that works? And I thought, let me tell you who I am. Let me tell you about my own journey and how I got to this place with what I do. And sort of like a reintroduction, especially if you are new in my world. So if you are, thank you. I'm glad that you're here. And so who I am is I'm a transformational health coach, is what I call myself, and a functional health practitioner. And I've been in health and wellness for 40 years. 40 years, yep. And it's been an amazing journey. My own health has been challenged throughout that time a lot, which is what sent me in the directions that I've gone through to get myself to this place where I am now. So when I was in my 20s, I'm almost 60. So when I was in my 20s, I knew that I wanted to be in health and wellness. I got my master's degree in exercise physiology. My undergraduate is in adult fitness. And I was, I had my own business as a high-end personal trainer, and I was running several clubs, departments of clubs, and I really was passionate about fitness and health. And I think that's because I grew up in an alcoholic household. I adored my dad. He was not abusive, but he was an alcoholic. And my mom died when I was 4 years old. She was 33, I think, 33-ish. From an autoimmune condition, multiple sclerosis. So having lost my mother and my father being an alcoholic, by the time I got to my 20s, I just knew that health and wellness was really important. I knew that I had seen a lot of sadness around quality of life, around health, and I really wanted to be in that field. So that's why I ended up in my undergrad, and then I went to graduate school. And it was in my 20s that my own first autoimmune condition started to show up. So I was diagnosed actually with 4 of them, 4 different autoimmune conditions over the course of the next 20 years. And I'm really happy to say that I don't have much issue. I don't have symptoms. They're not, flared up. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about that. But at the time in my early 20s, I'm working really hard. I'm going to graduate school. I'm running my own business, and I'm trying to keep myself super fit. And I start getting sick. I just start getting sick, like digestive stuff and colitis. I had ulcerative colitis, which was my first autoimmune. And, that really stunk. Like, I'm this fitness person, and I just don't feel as great as I want to feel. And it limited me. And I got Lyme disease too in my later 20s. So that sort of started to shape my world. But then when I got married in my 30s and had my children, my health really declined. So my daughter she had a lot of medical issues. If you're new to my world, you maybe haven't heard about Charlotte yet, but Charlotte passed in 2019, and she had a ton of big, significant medical issues. And my health kept getting worse. I kept getting more symptoms. People who knew me at the time of when my kids were young helped me a lot, but I'm sure they remember not a very vibrant, healthy person. And so that was my personal health journey. My daughter in 2012 was diagnosed with cancer. She had gotten a kidney transplant and was on immunosuppressions since she was 2 years old. And when she turned 8, she got cancer from the immunosuppression, right? Her immune system was being suppressed, and she had gotten Epstein-Barr virus, mono. the Epstein-Barr virus proliferated into lymphoma, which can happen in immunocompromised people. And she got cancer in her brain. 3 tumors were in her brain. So in 2012, I got really serious about nutrition. My undergrad and graduate degrees were in exercise physiology. I had some nutrition. I had a good amount of nutrition, but what I was really doing was the exercise part. So when my daughter got cancer, I was really committed to finding out what was the best nutrition for her. And then I was like, and for me too, because I've had these autoimmune conditions. By then I'd had thyroid, both Graves' disease and Hashimoto's. So I went back to school, and that was my motivation. Except when I went back to school, I started to really learn how there was a different way that you could approach your body and your health. What I was hearing from my doctors was, you have autoimmune in your family, here's a prescription for your thyroid, that's it. And what I was learning was, that's not it. And food is one of a really big thing. So I became a functional health practitioner. I went and, like I said, was back in school, passed a certification, and I became a functional health practitioner so that I could work with other people who had autoimmune conditions. And I was doing that. I was doing the gut, because gut health is a main root cause for any chronic and any health condition, really. Probably you've heard that at this point. This was several years ago, but at this point it's pretty well known. So I was doing the gut health stuff. I was doing the detox. I was doing all of the strategies with some stress management. Like, let's take a look at your stress. We need to work that in. But I was really focusing on the gut and the liver and the food and detoxing and all of that. And what I noticed in my own self, in my own body, and with my clients was that stress was the underlying thing of all of it. So every strategy that you might want to do, any protocol, any diet, any detox, the supplements, they were all trying to operate on top of a body whose nervous system was not functioning right because of chronic stress. So when I say chronic, that could be for the last 6-10 months, or it could be for the last 40 years. Either way is long-term. The body is not meant to operate in a turned-on stress response all the time. We're only supposed to turn that stress response on when we're actually running for our life, and then we're supposed to shut it off, but that's not how we live. And again, as I said, I grew up in an alcoholic household, and I lost my mother when I was 4 years old. That's chronic stress. That had been a state of stress since I was little. And I saw with my clients, right? Like, they all had backgrounds that included chronic stress. Like, they would say to me when we'd start working together, yeah, 2 years ago I went through a bad divorce, or I lost someone, or I've had to work 3 jobs and, I'm totally stressed out and burned out. Whatever the situation was didn't really matter. There was this common underlying background thing of stress. And so I wanted to shift and work with just that piece, because I feel like if you can manage just that piece of your life, all the other pieces are going to fall into place much easier. The effort and the money and the time that you put in to do all the other things will work and hold if you have your stress under control, if you've got your nervous system under control. And it's not only about your physical body, although that is my passion and my background, but it's also about your relationships, because it's your relationship to you. And if you're not in a great relationship with you and who you are, then you stay stressed out. Then it's very difficult to navigate any other part of life from a place of stability. So I had been doing transformational coaching in the early 90s. As a coach, I had become a head coach and was doing a lot of that for probably about 5 years. And I went back to that piece and married it with my functional health knowledge that I had gained, and to put those together along with a lot of current, if you're at all interested in this topic, you probably see it all the time on the internet and whatever your feed brings you. My feed brings it all the time because this is my thing. But more and more and more research and evidence is showing how much stress is really the number one root cause. It is the root cause of why your digestive system doesn't work. It's the root cause of high blood pressure and cardiovascular disease. It's the root cause of autoimmune conditions. So as that evidence it's been being studied heavily for the last 50 or 60 years, and the evidence has really been coming out heavily for the last 20 years. And now the focus has been on that, I think, all over the place. So I just took my own life, which was, wow, I've been in a chronically stressed situation since I was born into like no mother and a stressful household. And then I worked really, really hard all the time. I had multiple jobs in a crazy schedule. So I did all of those things. And on top of that, and I saw my own life and what that got me, which wasn't anything good, except the lessons. The lessons were really good because they got me here with what I do. And I saw with the women that I worked. So what I do now is only work on that piece. I mean, I have the background, I have all of the practitioner training. And if I have a client who's really wanting help with that, I'm happy to do it. But what I really get my joy and my passion of is to help them get their body back and their life back by releasing the things that have kept them stuck in stress. So that's how I got here. That's been my own journey. That's been my education. I keep going. If I don't get something, if I can't figure it out, if something still seems, like there's a missing piece, I go back to school. I just always do. I'll probably be in school when I'm 80 because that's me. But I want to figure it out. I want to leave no stone unturned for myself and for the people that I work with. And I really think that God made a magnificent machine. He knew what he was doing. He didn't like make a flawed plan over here. Our bodies and our spirit knows what to do if we give them the right tools. But if we don't, they can't do their job and the machine can't work the way it was designed. So that's my passion, is to help you get your machine back to working the way it was designed, so that you're experiencing joy again, so that you have vitality, your body and your health are optimal, and you're bringing your best self to your picture, to your relationships. So that's what I do. I just wanted to take a few minutes because really I've gotten, in the past week or so, I've gotten several inquiries like, what is it that you do? And again, there's a lot of new people in our groups, so I'm super glad to see that. And so this is who I am, and this is what I do. And if you have any questions, please post them. And just a reminder of the ways that I try to reach out. So every week, I do morning coffee conversations, super early in the morning. There's no hair and makeup done. I look like it's 5:30 in the morning and I'm drinking my coffee because that's what it is. But I do those 3 times a week, and they're 5 minutes, but it's something to help you think about, move yourself forward, consider in a different way, apply to your own life, whatever. Then I do usually a couple of other lives like this, short ones. And every Friday I do a live at lunch. So it's usually around 1:00 Eastern time. And that's a little bit longer. And it dives into specifically some of the tools that I use. So I'll just pick a topic, and I kind of like throughout the month, I focus on a particular topic. So you sort of can really sink your teeth into it. So every Friday there's a live at lunch. And then once a month, I'll do a workshop or a masterclass that is not like this live. It's a link and you have to register because we'll be interactive. I'll be doing stuff with you. You'll be hopefully practicing or answering me questions, asking me questions, and I'll be answering them. So that's an interactive thing once a month at the end of the month. It's the last Thursday of the month. So you see that get posted. And those are all things, all of them are free. Maybe the workshop at times is like $10 if it's like going to be a 90-minute workshop or something, just to get people to show up so they don't register and then not come. But everything else, it's either like $10 or free. And I'm trying to really give you tools and insights for your life. And then I'll also share with you opportunities about what my clients are doing, what they're up to, how they succeed, and how you can work with me if you decide like you want to really do that. So that's who I am. Thank you for listening. That's how I got here. That's been my journey, my background, my education, and my passion. So yeah, that's it. Tomorrow is Wednesday, so I usually do a word for Wednesday tomorrow, and there'll be coffee conversation tomorrow morning. Okay? So thank you. Have a great night, the rest of your evening, and I will see you around and about this week, I hope. Please say hello whenever you get a chance. Thanks. Bye.